Well, welcome to the Top Gun Show, where I try to bring you new providers, new technologies, and introduce you to the best professionals in the industry, all so you can make informed decisions. Today, I'd like to welcome Dr. Lauren Cook, clinical psychologist, professional speaker, consultant, and author. Dr. Lauren works with companies and organizations to improve retention, morale, and commitment by creating collaborative spaces that are rooted in mental and physical wellness. She has been featured on CNN, ABC News, Forbes, the New York Times, and many more places. She received her bachelor's degree at UCLA, her master's at USC, and her doctorate at Pepperdine. She recently published her book, Generation Anxiety, a Millennial and Gen Z Guide to Staying Afloat in an Uncertain World. Dr. Lauren, welcome to the Top Gun Show.
Thank you, Steve. I know we met on the plane and now we're meeting this way. Glad to be here.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, hey, I want to talk about your book in a few minutes, but please tell the audience a little bit about what you do and why you do it.
Absolutely. So I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. I practice here in the state of California. I have a private practice, but I work with a lot of companies and businesses to talk about how we can create more mentally healthy workplaces. My specialty is all things anxiety. I'm open about my own lived experience with anxiety, and I love helping folks work through their anxiety, whether that's at work, at home, or feeling it all the places. So that's a little bit about what I do.
You haven't had anxiety. Come on, be honest.
I'm serious. I have had a debilitating experience of emetophobia throughout my life, which is a phobia of vomit, believe it or not. It was a big deal, especially being pregnant. You and I both have young kids, having a 4-month-old now. And so I'm very open about my own lived experience with that. And I love treating anxiety with folks because it's one of the mental health experiences that we see a ton of evidence-based treatment for. So it really can get better for folks. And I love to teach people how to work through it.
That's great. That's great. You know, I've gone to your website and I've watched you on stage, and I mean, you have such a great presence and such a deep knowledge of this topic. So let's talk about your book, which just came out a couple weeks ago, I think, Generation Anxiety. What's the book about, and who is your audience?
So the book is technically titled A Millennial and Gen Z Guide for Staying Afloat in an Uncertain World. And really, though, this affects people of all different generations. Generation Alpha, which are our kids that we have today, and Generation X and beyond. We are seeing that more and more people are struggling with anxiety, not only in prevalence, but also in severity. We are seeing a lot of people where they are feeling scared every single day in the United States. In fact, 75% of people report that they feel unsafe in this country every single day. So I really like to use this model I call empowered acceptance. It's about first accepting that you have anxiety. The biggest mistake a lot of us make when treating our anxiety is we're trying to make it go away. And actually, the secret is we can't make our anxiety go away. Sometimes the anxiety is just going to be there, and that's okay. The second piece, though, is we have to be empowered in our approach. We can't just be passive bystanders to our lives. We have to take active action, both on an individual and a collective level. So I really like to teach folks how to do that so that they don't just feel like their life is happening to them.
Very nice. I love it. I love it. What prompted you to write the book?
Well, I shared with you that I'm very open about how anxiety has been debilitating in my life, whether it's really struggling with panic attacks and feeling like my world was just getting increasingly smaller. And it's been my clinical specialty. I've seen so many people struggle with anxiety, whether it's social anxiety, that's a huge one coming out of the pandemic. Whether it's separation anxiety, you would be amazed how many young adults and people of all different ages really actually struggle with separation anxiety. It's not just little kids. And generalized anxiety, obviously, is something that we see a lot, as well as OCD. So I really wanted to give people the most effective treatments that we see helping folks. And really what we see through the research is it has to be a holistic approach. I'm a therapist, I'm a psychologist, so I'm all for therapy every day. But actually, there was a really interesting study that came out of Australia a few months ago saying that exercise is actually the most effective treatment for our mental health concerns, particularly anxiety and depression, more than therapy, more than medication. So my book is really walking people through all the different kinds of things that you can do to have effective treatment. We even talk about that gut-brain axis connection and how the food we put in affects our mental health. We've got to look at all the different angles of this for really a holistic approach to healing.
Love it. I love it. That's great. Good. Congratulations on writing such a great book. Just briefly about what you do for corporate environments. I know you've been on stage and you do corporate work there. Touch on that for a minute.
Yeah. We actually met on the plane because I was heading to Savannah for the Georgia Economic Developers Conference. I speak on a lot of different topics. So I speak a lot on how to find more joy and happiness in the workplace and in our lives. I've done a lot of great work with a wonderful company based in Nebraska called Huddle. We've had some fun with that. I did some work with Salesforce to talk through how we can build more meaningful mentorships and work through that social anxiety that can come up through the workplace. And then I do a lot of work with my what's called the Riding the Waves program. And that's by far the most popular talk I've done with 23andMe, Boston Scientific, other companies, where we really talk about how to accept our anxiety rather than mentally treading. And we talk too about how to really work through when a wave does hit our lives, when we feel like we can't cope in our day to day. I talk through with people how we can heal ourselves somatically. So not just from the neck up, but throughout the entire body. And these are skills that apply not just to the workplace, but people can take these skills at home too, which I think people find really valuable.
I love it. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, Dr. Lauren, I know you're a big fan of the Top Gun show since meeting me on the airplane. And I know there are millions and millions of people watching you right now. Why don't you tell the viewers a fun little known fact about yourself?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, let's see. In case people can't tell, I am a full-on cat lady. And I don't know, maybe that will X me out for some people, but my entire life, I have always had chocolate point Siamese cats with the apple head. It is a very specific breed, but it is my favorite kind of cat. I have a little Siamese named Mochi. He is not happy about being a big brother, but my book is actually dedicated to my cat. So there's a little fun fact for you.
Wow, I didn't know there was such thing as an applehead cat. So the things you learn on the Top Gun show, I'm telling you, it's amazing. Well, Dr. Lauren, I know you're really, really busy and highly sought after. Thanks for carving out time out of your busy schedule to be on the Top Gun show. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve. I'm glad the universe brought our paths together.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching, everybody.